Greetings, Midcoast Ukes. Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about the Hawaiian strum. There are many Hawaiian strums, but this particular one is known far and wide as the Hula Strum. So we'll get into this. One thing I wanted to say about it before we even begin talking about the specific strum is that it's extremely similar to the strum we talked about last week, which I called the Creedence strum. So if you know a song like Proud Mary or Who'll Stop the Rain, that sort of thing, you already know this strum. You just have to add an element of swing to it. So just to review from last time, the Creedence strum being left a good job in the city. So right out of Proud Mary by Creedence, or Who'll Stop the Rain, or Have You Ever Seen the Rain? 3 songs by Creedence that use that very common strum. And the main element to that is that it's eighth notes, down, up. In this case, straight eighth notes, and it has a chuck in it on 2 and 4. And if you're not so sure about chucks, go back and look at that Creedence strum video, and I do a brief analysis of how to do that, how to do an actual chuck like that. So be sure to click on that video, the one from last week, and you'll see that. Alright, so putting that into the context of a Hawaiian song that uses the hula strum, like the one I was playing in the intro, that was the Hula song. Oh, we're going to a Hula. That one, really a cool Hapa Haole tune. And if you don't know, Hapa Haole are songs that are associated with Hawaii, and they have lyrics about Hawaii, but they weren't necessarily written by Hawaiians. They're written by, a lot of times, Tin Pan Alley songwriters in New York City that were not Hawaiian, but they, you know, used in the lyrics imagery of Hawaii, and talked about island life and that sort of thing. In the case of Hukila, it was about having a party and fishing and all of that. And then there's Little Grass Shack. I want to go back to My Little Grass Shack. That's another Hawaiian song that uses this hula strum, but was not necessarily written by a native Hawaiian. So let's look at what the actual strum is now, and maybe we'll learn a couple of the chords in Hukila. So I'm doing it in G, and what I do is I strum down, up, chuck, up, down, up, chuck, up, but with this Hawaiian lilt, this little bit of swing. Not like Benny Goodman big band swing, but Hawaiian swing. Different from Proud Mary. Remember, the Creedence drum was straight, and this is more. So it's the same rhythm. It would look the same on paper. It's all the same techniques with the downs, ups, and chucks, but the feel, the swing feel, distinguishes it from the Creedence strum. If you want to know the chords to Hukila, well, you could download a song sheet, but it's G, eventually gets into D7. And I like to use what's known as the Hawaiian D7 for this, which is 2-2-2-3. But you could do the easier D7 if you prefer, which is 2-0-2-0. Either one's going to sound fine. I just prefer the Hawaiian one. And also I slide into my chords sometimes from a half step below for that Hawaiian lap steel and pedal steel sound. Those instruments are played with a slide. You slide a glass bar or a brass bar across the strings, and it goes, and it's a very typical sound that we associate with Hawaiian music. So in order to imitate that, by sliding my chords up a half step, it almost gets that kind of pedal steel or lap steel sound. A couple other instruments that use that kind of slide, the dobro, which you hear a lot in bluegrass and Americana, and then resonator guitar, which is kind of similar to dobro. So anyway, long history there of all these instruments, but in case you wonder why I do that, because to me it sounds Hawaiian. It gives me a little bit more of a Hawaiian vibe when I play these songs. So G and D7. We stay on D7, but return to G. Now E7 that's the whole tune. It's basically a verse and a chorus. So I hope you learned Midcoast Ukes a little something about the Hawaiian strum. Down, up, chuck, up, down, up, chuck, up, with a little bit of Hawaiian lilt or swing. And I hope you can add that to your arsenal of great strums. All right, take care, Midcoast Ukes. Bye-bye.